Hi guys, today we're going to get into part 2 of our review of the Origintrail blockchain project. We're going to be looking at whether Origintrail makes a compelling investment for your cryptocurrency portfolio. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is AG Hunter and my goal is to help you make good investment decisions by providing quality analysis of cryptocurrency projects. If you like what you see in this video, please hit like and subscribe. My YouTube channel is still very new, so every new engagement really helps. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you. I'm recording with a new microphone today, so hopefully you'll be able to hear the difference. Today we're going to launch into part 2 of our review of the Origintrail project. In part 1, we covered what the project was about. Today, we are going to look at the project from the angle of an investment analysis. We will cover who is the team behind the project, what are the project's tokenomics, we'll look at some other analytics, including blockchain metrics and community engagement, and we'll conclude with a summary of the things that I do and don't like about the project. Before we start, I need to make the standard disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. All investments are inherently risky and you should do your own research before making any investment decisions. All the links to the material that I use to prepare this video will be in the comments below, so you can do your own investigation if what I say makes you curious to know more. So let's start by looking at the team. The Origintrail team is a strong one and consists of 3 founders, Tomas, Ziga, and Branimir. All 3 founders have been on the project since its inception in 2011 and appear to be on the project more or less full-time. They are all very well credentialed, which I think is a positive, with a variety of tertiary qualifications across a variety of different fields. With the pace at which IT has exploded over the last 20 years, university qualifications aren't always seen as being as relevant as they may be in other fields. They still hold weight for me, however, so it's good to see such a strong background in business and engineering fundamentals across all 3 founders. I won't go into too much detail here about each founder individually. You can go to the Origintrail website and link through to their respective LinkedIn profiles if you want to know more. In terms of strengths of this team, however, I think that they are as follows. They have all been together since 2011, working on the same project, so have proven longevity and focus. They have a proven track record of moving the project forward. They wouldn't have been able to forge the partnerships they have in place if they didn't know what they were doing. They have a clear roadmap and they are tracking their progress against it. They have successfully developed and implemented a working technology solution. They have Origintrail as their main focus and aren't split across multiple projects. They are also very open and transparent about the progress of the projects. There are literally dozens of articles, interviews, Q&A sessions, etc. available across multiple media platforms. I've linked some of these interviews in the comments below, but it's fair to say that there was more content available than I had time to review when I was researching this project. Moving on to look at the Origintrail community, I think that strong crypto projects are supported by strong communities. I find the best way to assess this is to look at the engagement across multiple social media platforms. Once again, we see a broadly positive picture here. They have active communities on Reddit and Telegram. There is an official Discord channel to provide support to node holders, which is active and responsive to questions from community members. There are also regular posts on the project's Facebook and Twitter accounts. All in all, this supports the picture of an open and transparent project that is on the front foot with its marketing and is keen to engage with its community. So the project gets another tick here. There are also a number of other analytic tools that we can use to further assess the health of a project. The first of these is what's known as the FCAS score. FCAS stands for Fundamental Crypto Asset Score. I have a link in the description that provides further details about this metric, but in essence, it's a measure of the health of the project across a number of domains. Origintrail scores a 683, which gets a B grade on this measure. This is healthy, but not amazing. What is more attractive though is the way in which the FCAS has changed over time. Here we see that the FCAS has increased continually over the life of the project. This is exactly the pattern we want to see from a small project. 2 of the 3 measures that FCAS assesses are user engagement and developer activity. An uptrending FCAS is indicative of growth in these areas. This is exactly what we would expect to see from a project that is actively developing its technology and onboarding new users. We can also check development activity a different way by looking at the project's GitHub activity, and this shows an active project with a slow but steady and continuous development taking place. Finally, looking at token metrics, we see 2 things worthy of note. Firstly, we can see that the majority of the tokens, 71%, are held by a small number of wallets. This is not ideal as it leaves open the risk of a token dump driving down prices at some point. This is probably a worst case scenario, but one to be mindful of. A more likely possibility is a steady drip feed of tokens into the market. If we assume that these large accounts are most likely the founders and the development team, it's reasonable to assume that some of these holders will want to cash out their stakes over time. This leads to a risk that price could be suppressed if supply outweighs demand. I'll talk more about this in the next section. Finishing on a positive note from the same screen grab, we can see that 75% of tokens have been held for over 12 months. This is a positive, as it shows that the people with the biggest stake in the project are invested for the long term. Moving on to the tokenomics, we see another positive situation. As discussed in the first part of this review, the trace token is a utility token. Businesses that wish to use the Origintrail Decentralized Network, or ODN for short, need to own and stake tokens in order to store their data on the ODN. Likewise, customers that wish to access this data need to spend trace to do so. This gives us a situation where demand is created for the token by people who want to employ the technology, while at the same time, supply is reduced by tokens being staked. Increasing demand and reducing supply causes the price of the token to rise. Setting aside my concerns about the large number of tokens held by the development team, this is a positive picture. If the tech is successful and more businesses adopt Origintrail's technology, then the price of the token must rise, all other things being equal. This is a great example of how a well-designed token model can accurately reflect growth in a project. We still need to see an uptake of the tech, but if the team continues to build partnerships with organizations like BSI and SCAN, then the price of the token will rise and token holders will be rewarded. To finish this review, I'm going to go through a couple of things that I do and don't like about the Origintrail project. What do I like? Well, I really like the technology and the proven track record of implementing this technology to solve real-world problems. I also like the track record of forging partnerships with big organizations like BSI, SCAN, and Swiss Rail. I like the team and the fact that they are all heavily invested in the project with long tenures in their current role, and I particularly like the transparency of the project. When looking at smaller projects like this, the struggle is usually finding the information you need to form an opinion. In the case of Origintrail, the struggle was getting through all the material that was out there. And finally, I like the tokenomics of the project and the structure of the trace token market. So what don't I like? There's only really one thing that stands out as a negative for me, and it's related to a couple of points that I've already touched on earlier in this review. It's a combination of the project's business structure and its highly concentrated token ownership. I described the business structure in the first video and talked about how I felt this was a positive from a business development point of view. It does have a downside, however, and this downside has the potential to interact with the token structure in a negative way. With respect to the token, we have a situation where as demand increases, so does the price. If the project is successful, then you will reach a point where the price increases so much that the services provided by the protocol become too expensive and new users stop adopting the tech. We see this kind of problem in ETH right now, where transaction costs are so high that some people are avoiding making transactions. If you are buying right now, which is in September 2020, when I'm filming this video, this probably isn't an issue for you because the token will have risen more than enough to make you happy. It's still important to know, however, that the structure of the token market places a cap on how high the value of the token can go. Then we introduce the business structure. In most cryptocurrency startups, the founders earn their money from an increase in the price of the token. In the case of Origintrail, however, the founders have two income streams. One is the increase in token prices, and the second is in income from Trace Labs, which provides services for profit. In this situation, you have a variation of the principal and agent problem. If the founders are making more money from Trace Labs than they are from the token, then they have an incentive to try and keep the price of the token low in order to continue to attract new businesses to the ODN. We've also seen that these founders hold approximately 71% of the total token pool, so they have the ability to suppress the price of the token by gradually drip feeding new tokens onto the market. And depending on how the economics of the project play out, they potentially also have the motivation to do this to keep the price low. All of this is obviously a problem for the future though. If you are investing in mid to late 2020, then the above situation is a good one, as it means your tokens will have appreciated in value significantly. It's something to be aware of, however. If you disagree with this assessment or think I've misunderstood the tokenomics of the situation, be sure to leave a comment below outlining your reasoning. So I'll finish with some concluding thoughts. All in all, I think Origintrail is a great project. My final point aside, I think it ticks just about all the boxes for what I look for in a cryptocurrency project. If I'm being honest though, I think it's likely to be more of a slow burner than a moonshot opportunity. While I have no doubt, based on my research, that this is a solid company rolling out good technology to a marketplace that is ready for innovation, the project is not easy to understand. Solutions that bring efficiencies to auditing process and the issuing of business standards are also not particularly sexy offerings. So it remains to be seen if the project will gain widespread support from the broader crypto community. That said, the tokenomics of the project mean that the project doesn't need crowd support from the masses to be successful. It just needs a steady uptake of its technology from industry participants. So far, the team are having significant success in making this a reality. That concludes my two-part review of the Origintrail project. If you missed part 1, there's a link on the screen now which will take you through to the original video. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please put them in the comments below, and please don't forget to subscribe before you leave.